Hi everyone, I'm Pat Prokop, retired meteorologist. Today is Monday, June the 19th or Juneteenth. And the weather conditions, well, we're starting to see that rainy system setting up across our region. I had a little light rain this morning. More rain is on the way, not just for tonight or tomorrow, but all of this week. Meanwhile, activity continues to brew in the tropics. So let's go to the maps and see what's going on right now. And first of all, the radar summary from across the southeast shows more showers and thunderstorms developing off far to our west. In and around central Georgia and way back into Alabama, eastern Alabama, and also in the northern Gulf of Mexico around the Apalachicola, Florida area, Apalachee Bay. And all this system will be advancing eastward toward our region over the next several days, as it looks like right now. As a matter of fact, looking at the satellite imagery, there it is right here. There you can see a broad area of low pressure circulating in the southeast. And this system is actually going to be dropping southeastward right into Georgia and South Carolina and Alabama, and that's going to just stay there for several days. So we're going to see continuous chances for rain, showers, and thunderstorms for the next several days. But while I got the hood up on the satellite imagery, let's pull it over to the tropical Atlantic Ocean. And there we see two systems, a tropical wave over here to the southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands, and also this system here, which has been upgraded to Tropical Depression 3 and now Tropical Storm Brett with 35 knot winds or 40 mile per hour winds. And this system will continue to drift off toward the west. All right, let's take a look at the National Hurricane Center website, and there is the storm now, Brett, located in the central portions of the tropical Atlantic Ocean, and that other disturbance over here, well behind it to the southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. And that, if it develops, could become Cindy, but right now we're not concerned about that. Looking at the forecast from the National Hurricane Center, showing the warning and the warning cone and the path of the storm. It's expected to become a hurricane over the next several days as it moves in through an environment that is quite favorable for tropical development. But then as it gets over here in the northeastern Caribbean Sea, it's going to probably encounter wind shear, and there it's going to start weakening, and it'll be down to a tropical storm. And the weakening will probably continue thereafter. Actually, the weakening may even start sooner than this forecast shows at 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Let's take a look at the weather maps for that time. First of all, of course, the global forecast system, the U.S. model, it has a system right down in here, and the next one following it. If we go into time, we can follow that system. You can see how it moves in toward the Lesser Antilles Islands and the Windward Islands, and then moves into the northeastern portion of the Caribbean Sea as a possible hurricane, but then it starts to break up somewhat as it encounters wind shear. Now, other models, the ECMWF, the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting, shows basically the same thing, except it has the storm hanging a little bit farther south as it moves into the central Caribbean Sea, but then it encounters wind shear and it kind of loses its identity. That second system curves off to the north, well to the east of the Lesser Antilles Islands, and then bounces around in the Atlantic for a while, and then looks like that one will be dissipating as well. Let's look at something over here. I want to show you. Let's bring it up right here. And this is the general forecast, or the global forecast model, the general model for the United States, and it shows the storm on 120 hours out. This is Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it shows the storm right over here in the extreme northeastern portion of the Caribbean Sea. Now I want to show you the map of the wind shear, and this was the wind shear for this morning. And it's showing actually the wind shear yeah, for this morning is showing somewhat of wind shear, northwest winds coming across that area. This is up around 200 millibars or around 35,000 feet in the atmosphere. And wind shear is winds that will cut across the tops of hurricanes and actually shears them apart. And it just keeps them from developing. And as a matter of fact, if you want to knock out a hurricane, just give it some wind shear aloft, and that will take care of a hurricane, knock it down to almost nothing. Now, yesterday, the wind shear looked a little bit stronger than it did today, but still, there's enough wind shear here to, it looks like that will cause the storm to not make it much further westward as it moves in from the northeastern portion of the Caribbean Sea. So I'm not all that worried. Plus, over here, this portion of the region, we can see a big trough of low pressure. That's producing our rains across our region. That's also going to cause any system that gets anywhere near our region in this time and space will be blown away and pushed off to the north, or blown away and sheared at the same time. So nothing of major concern for us to be associated with this system. So let's go back to the weather maps, and let's look at the conditions for our area. Now, I mentioned that broad area of low pressure in the region, and that's going to hang around for the next several days. Here's the RGEM model, and it is from the Canadian Meteorological Center, but it's a good one. And it shows that system just spinning around over the next 80 hours or so, 84 hours. It just stays here in the southeast. This goes all the way through the sunset on Thursday. There you can see it's just periods of rain after periods of rain after periods of rain settling up across our area. Now, let's go back to this other map once again. Now, this is the forecast amount of rain through 2 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. And this is the what's called the National Digital Forecast data. This is made basically with a combination of humans and computers. And it shows about an inch of rain in our area, and 1.5 inches to 2 inches of rain across the central Savannah River area, much more across the Big Bend area of Florida. Now, if you look at the computer models, this here is the NAM, the North American model, at the same time, and it's showing a little less than 1 inch of rain in the greater Savannah, Hinesville, Jessup area back in toward north of Waycross. A little bit more off to the north in Effingham and Scriven counties back in toward the Bullitt County area, maybe 2 inches of rain or so there. And then this is the layer right here is the National Blend of Models, which is a pretty good model, and it shows about the same thing, about 1 inch to a little bit more than 1 inch across our region up to 2 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. Now, if we go into the end of the week, going through actually Sunday at sunset is the time here, and it shows more rain has accumulated across the region and across southwestern Georgia and the western portion of the Florida area in the central Panhandle region and the Big Bend area. About 5 to 6 inches of rain expected out there. About 3.5 inches in the Savannah area, maybe 4 inches up around the Effingham County area, stretching across into Hampton County, South Carolina. So a bit of rain, quite a bit of rain is coming in on our region. So we got to keep an eye out for that. And speaking about keeping an eye in the sky, have you been noticing out in the western sky, not lately because of all the cloud cover, but if you have been noticing a super bright object or star, that is the planet Venus, and it's at its most brilliance right now. It is the third brightest object up in the sky, only to be outshone by the sun and the moon. And if you're into magnitudes, magnitude right now is minus 4.5, which is extremely bright. And but there it is right there. I peeked at it through the telescope the other night when we did have a brief clear sky, and this is what it looks like. It looks like a waning crescent moon right now. Now, it's getting smaller and smaller as like a phase of the moon is waning. However, it's getting closer and closer to us, so this eventually gets bigger and bigger and bigger. That's why it's so bright right now. But in about another week or about another month or so, it'll be gone from the evening sky. So enjoy while you can if you have the sky clear, which is probably not going to happen this much this week. So let's go out to the garden.
Here I am out in the garden right now. We had a little bit of rain this morning, about 1/10 of an inch of rain so far. I'm expecting more rain tonight and a lot more tomorrow and the next day, Wednesday and Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, it's going to be a rainy week here in southeastern Georgia and southern South Carolina. Now, if you like this video, please hit the like button below, and if you have any comments, leave your comments below as well. I love reading your comments and replying to your comments as well. And also, if you would like to help support this venture, you can join my channel, or you can buy a super thanks, whatever all voluntary. You don't have to do any of this. It's all voluntary. Anyway, I enjoy presenting the weather information. I always have since I was about 7 years old, along with astronomy up in the nighttime sky when the sky is clear. You can see my telescopes in the background over there, but they're under cover because of the expected rain for the next several days and nights, of course, for that. Anyway, I'm keeping an eye on the tropics. However, I don't think these two systems will be any threat to the southeast United States whatsoever. However, if you have a planned trip to the Windward Island or the Lesser Antilles Islands, you might want to consider keeping a closer eye on the weather in that area there. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you right here on YouTube.